topic of conversation this week has been the level of ownership involvement. This following a Diana Rossini tweet that indicated Jonathan Kraft was heavily involved in what was happening this week. She later said that Jonathan Kraft was being looped in and was in constant communication with the guys on the football side of things. I think you've heard from several places that Jonathan Kraft is not running football. We've heard that in several places this week. Obviously, some pushback to that Diana Rossini report. So you mentioned right off the top today that Robert Kraft might question his guys on why it is they would want to trade out of 3.
Right.
So, Bert,
I'm not saying they don't love Drake May, because I think they really, really like Drake May.
As they should.
And I've heard people there say, like, they feel like he's undervalued. Like, based on where he was coming out of last year, like, would have been number 2 with a bullet, you know? So I think ownership's involvement, I think the best way to put it would be, I think they ask questions, they go in, and I think they're probably more involved than they were when Bill was here. But I don't think Jonathan's going in there into like a dark room and working the huddle. You know what I mean? Like, or working the Exos. Like, you know, I don't think he's sitting there with the clicker. I don't think that he's got a stopwatch at a pro day like they did, 30 years ago when Tabucky Jones was coming out. I don't think that exists. I do think there's going to be more of an analytics influence over time. I think that's going to build out over time. I could see Jonathan overseeing some of that. And I do think they're going to want answers on why you're doing things. And, like, I think that part of it is, I think good owners do that. Like, I think there's a limit to how far you go with it, but I think good owners do that. Like, what a good owner can do is take their expertise, whatever field it is, and apply it to football and just ask good questions. And maybe help make personality assessments of the people they're bringing in because they've hired people before. You know, it's creatively finding a way to use your own business acumen without overstepping your bounds and going to areas you shouldn't. And it can be walking a tightrope for owners. And I think they're figuring that out.
Question about the 30s, the visits. Is it normal operating procedure to meet with the owner privately?
Yeah, for quarterbacks, yes.
All right.
Jaden Daniels met with Josh Harris in Washington. I think the McCaskies met with Caleb Williams. For quarterbacks, yes.
So did Drake May visit with Robert Kraft, do you think, when he was here?
My guess would be yes. Drake May, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know that? I mean, just tell us.
No, but I mean, this was not. But no. This was not Robert Kraft letting it out of letting the news out. This was JJ on Schefter's podcast talking about it.
Right, and I think there's an interesting thing going on with JJ too, which there are a lot of people in the league who feel like his people are trying to engineer him to Minnesota.
Okay,
and what's in their best interest is maybe getting to the Vikings, but if you look at the rookie slotting system, it's getting to the Vikings at the highest point possible. So he also went on with Rich yesterday, and I'm sure you heard this, and started openly talking about the Giants. I don't know if the Giants are a McCarthy team, but does it help J.J. McCarthy if he's outwardly talking about how much the Giants like him?
So
yes,
it would help J.J. McCarthy to make it look like the Patriots really liked him and would consider him at number 3 in order to force the Vikings to trade to 3 potentially, although if they traded to 3, they'd be doing it for Drake.
They're not doing that. But
so let's say trade to 4. I don't know. I have no idea how this works out. Or if, let's say, the Giants move up to 3 and they take Drake May and the Patriots are now at 6, and you're forcing the Vikings to move up to 6 to draft JJ because they're afraid that the Patriots would then take him. So this is why it benefits him to make it look like the Patriots are hot for JJ
because
McCarthy.
They want the Vikings. And because I think a piece of this for them. And look, the Vikings are the best situation for a young quarterback of all the teams looking. I think we can agree on that by far. Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Christian Darrisaw at left tackle.
All good.
Yeah. So
Dome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dome.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Facility, yes.
Yeah. Great.
Coaching, yes.
Good for him.
In the playoffs recently. So I think to me it's like if you're JJ, like part of the game might be, because when have you heard a quarterback, like yesterday, I don't know if you heard the thing he did with Rich, but when have you heard a quarterback so outwardly talk about a team? Like, where do you think you're going? The stock answer is, I don't know. Like, I really like my visits with all the teams, right? JJ specifically said the Giants. Why would you say that?
Because you're trying to boost your own draft stock.
Because you want the Vikings.
That's what you're trying to do.
You want to make the Vikings a little antsy.
Yeah.
And you want the Vikings not to call everybody's bluff and not just sit there at 11 and get you. You get more money if they move up to 6 to get you.
And he said all the right things to kiss the rings and talk about how smooth and cool Robert Kraft is and all the great Patriot players over the year and the culture that Gerard Mayo is trying to build. I mean, he hit on a lot of key points. Also said Danny Amendola's back in the fold. Is Danny Amendola working for the Patriots?
I think he screwed that up.
No, I think he's...
Amendola's with the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah. Raiders, yeah.
Okay. At least we didn't know if he had a job change in recent weeks that nobody knew about.
Yeah, no, Danny Amendola is like the returners coach with the Raiders. Which that's a new position. I think Troy Brown did a little bit of that.
I think maybe it was bringing Slate back, bringing Troy, keeping those type of guys around, former players on the staff.
Yeah,
and I think he got confused.
All right,
he's dealing with a lot of names.
But whatever. He
hit on 90% of the names.
It's interesting because I do think to some degree JJ McCarthy canceled his people canceled a workout with the Falcons. I know the perception was in Atlanta that maybe he doesn't want to go to a place with a defensive head coach. So there's all of these moving pieces and the handling with the quarterbacks. I think you've seen it with Jaden Daniels. I've just heard more from teams about how tightly managed these guys are now.
That's crazy.
And how much is going on with the agent thinking he might be able to get this guy here, this guy there. There's a lot of this stuff that goes on now.
Bring this back to the Patriots. You don't think they're actually going to draft J.J. McCarthy at 3 overall? You're not buying that.
But I do buy just a Godfather. We cannot turn this down.
I'm saying at 3.
No,
at number 3 overall, they will not be taking J.J. McCarthy.
I think it's Drake May at 3.
Okay, so there it is so far. Bert's saying if they're at 3, they're taking Drake May. It won't be J.J. McCarthy. They're still going to listen to offers all the way through, right up until when they're on the clock. The Patriots' phone lines are open, that they will listen right up until the very end.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.